Hello and welcome to Dark Basement HQ. If you haven't been here before, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Clodagh, and together we are the Kids from Yesterday podcast team.
So a few episodes ago, we talked about misogyny. It was an episode called Girl, All the Bad Guys Want. And we covered kind of the fact that in a lot of cases, if you can't... What was the thing you said, Coda?
If you can't see it, you can't be it.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about how emo culture kind of centers around male-dominated bands, and it centers around kind of male dress, and it centers... a lot of it is kind of through a male gaze,
yeah,
so to speak. But we thought, there's no point in just bitching about, how few, women there are in music. We need to talk about it a little bit.
So we decided we would do a kind of a part 2 episode on that. So first of all, we talked, obviously, it was misogyny. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the women that are actually in the music industry, in the emo music industry in particular, and doing really amazing things.
Yeah.
And repping it for the gals.
So, I mean, when I was going through this, there's a lot more than I thought. The first ones, I mean, we've spoken about her to death, but, the first thing you think of is Hayley. And I think that's what we talked about a lot in episode 4, that was kind of our introduction to who was there in the scene. But I went through a subreddit on, what are bands that have females in them? Kind of a shockingly low amount, but at the same time, not actually that surprising either.
No.
I don't think. But there were quite a good few people that were around kind of when we were around.
Not going through our phase again.
Stop
I
saying that.
Stop saying that.
Cowards
Still
say
in emo. But when the emo era was at its peak, I guess. There's a lot more than I thought there was. When I initially was okay, I need, who are the people that I can think of?
What 3 girls are we gonna
What 3
find?
girls can we talk about? There was 4 that came to mind, and then I started thinking about it more, and I was like, no, there's a lot more now, Claude, once I think about it. But there is the representation. They are there. Unfortunately, they're not in bands that are, quite as popular as male fronted bands.
Yeah.
But if you look,
they're there.
You can find them. Yeah.
They're definitely there, and I guess that just come into that if you can't see it, you can't be it.
Yeah.
In episode 6, we talked about kind of the roots of emo, and a band that kept coming up, but briefly mentioned, were a band called Raina Maria. And I kind of disregarded it, I think, because I'd never heard of them. And for some reason, I just didn't look into them too deeply. But they had so they had co-vocalists. So they had they both did lead, I think. And then this girl, Caitlin Demars, took over as lead vocals kind of at some point into it. And they have a female guitarist as well, Kaya Fisher. And I thought that was really cool because they're considered kind of part of that first wave, second wave of emo bands, kind of in the 90s. And they got back together again, I think, in the last, maybe 10 years or so. They did another kind of run of tours. But I just thought that was really cool that's been there. And this is at a time when, I guess it was very male-dominated. All those bands we talked about in episode 6 were pretty much full of men.
You think of them Dashboard Confessional, obviously. Yeah. Male, Blink-182, 3 lads. Green Day, 3 lads. You're looking at all these bands that kind of started out in the era, Hawthorne Heights, lads. We need to find the gals.
Yeah, we need to get your bands out for the lads. It was sad to look at this list and go, oh shit, we overlooked that.
Yeah.
We were literally making an episode about this. But they're pretty cool. They're going to be on our playlist. You've probably already heard it. It came out on Thursday. But all of our playlists are on Spotify, and there's links everywhere, I think.
Everywhere you can find us, any social media you're on, we're on it.
If you just search Kids From Yesterday on Spotify, you'll find us.
Yeah.
But a lot of these bands will be on that list. But I thought that was really cool. And then I was thinking as well about bands that were around when we were around, or musicians. So
we're still around.
I meant when I was a child.
Yeah.
When I was old. Remember Lights?
Yes.
Like Lights is doing stuff with Hot Topic at the moment. Like she's still doing like promotional stuff. She's like the poster child for an emo girl. Like she has
emo
the hair.
influencer.
She has, yeah, exactly. Like she has the hair still. She has like the clothes. She's doing it, but I never listened to her. And I guess like her music's kind of like electropop indie. But I think a lot of what makes somebody emo, I mean, this is a thing we've struggled with. We struggled with this in the 6th episode. We're struggling with it now, 2 episodes later, where there isn't actually a definition of emo.
Yeah.
But I think it depends on who goes to these shows. And we've said before that in Ireland, like, there wasn't a distinction between, like, the emos, the scene kids, the goths, the whatever. We were all kind of lumped in together.
Yeah, definitely.
We only had one place to go, and it was the bank. And even
except for neither of us went there because we were too young, or boggers, me, and couldn't get to the bank easily. So,
but I mean, if we had gone there,
yeah,
it would have been the only place it would have been accepted. Really.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to be emo.
Unless you're from Navan, there was a place the emos used to hang out called The Hill. Shout out to anyone from Navan listening who remembers The Hill. But it was just a hill, like, outside the library. A lot of emos used to go and hang out there.
It's quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
It's like a wholesome place to be outside the library. But I think Lights is really cool. Like I haven't really listened to her before this week when I kind of did my research, but like she's pretty cool. And at the same time, you had like Cassidy Pope in Hey Monday.
Ah, we love her so much.
We've talked about her before. She's amazing.
Yeah.
But she was in Hey Monday. They broke up, and then she went and she won fucking The Voice of America.
Yeah.
Like, and she's a country music star, and she's amazing. But like, do you remember actually in our last episode where we talked about Everybody Hurts?
Yeah.
The Leslie Simon book, and they had this like breakdown of different types of emo, and we were like, what the fuck is a country emo?
Yeah.
It's her. But like, you know, like she, like Nashville, like Hayley Williams, Nashville, like all these people that were like doing these confessional songs, I guess, that you could be like, that's emo.
But also country.
Yeah, so like her stuff is still really cool. Even her newer stuff, it's still got that confessional thing in it that makes it kind of emo. Even if it's not necessarily something you listen to or like think of listening to. But like there's been a few times where I've put her on and I've just been like, this.
Could we consider old Taylor Swift somewhat emo? In the sense that she was into Paramore, she said, you know, she obviously had that recent song with Brendan Urie. She said she was a huge Panic at the Disco fan even.
I am one big Panic at the Disco song.
She is one big Panic at the Disco song, like same. It's all panic and no disco on this podcast. But
can that be our podcast title?
Yes, it's all panic and no disco over here. But like, and her old stuff was very confessional, very emotive. So, and actually when I was googling emo girls and emo singers, she actually came up with one which surprised me. So did Leighton Meester, and I was like, what? But I can kind of see why she might be considered emo because, well, she had that song with Cobra Starship, and to be honest, that's all I know of her. But that's.
I mean, she did other things. I think
she had a music career, definitely.
Yeah, she did.
But it's the same with Demi Lovato. Like, she may not be, her fans may not be emo, but she herself.
Yeah, I mean, like when she was
emo.
like 18 and she had, you know, the mental health issues.
Yeah.
She was hanging around with We the Kings. She did the song with We the Kings. She was like rumored to have dated Alex Gaskarth from All Time Low. There was like, that's pretty much, there has like a whole song on Dirty Work.
Yeah.
But we're not going to put that on the playlist. It's nothing to do with it's nothing to do with anything. But it's like, there was a song that was like made up of Demi Lovato lyrics.
Yeah, and her song titles and stuff.
Yeah, her song titles are like lyrics from her songs. There's I have thoughts about that, but whatever. But like again, like she wouldn't have necessarily been considered emo at all because she's a Disney kid, because of the people who liked her music. But like she was in the scene. So I think something that was really interesting to me when I was going through that subreddit about female vocalists or female musicians in emo bands, that nobody could agree on what actually made an emo band. So the people were like, oh, this band is whatever, and then like 10 people would be like, that's not emo. So it's like, there is no real way of defining what emo actually is, and it just seems to be like a post-punk movement.
Yeah, you can't define it as somebody who sings about emotions, because that's literally every band ever. Ed Sheeran could be emo under that, guys.
Please don't take please don't take that at face value. Don't send us an email being like, these bitches said that Sheeran is emo, and he's not.
But you know what I mean? Like, you can't define, okay, it's a 4-piece band. Well, there's so many 4-piece bands that aren't emo. There's so many different things that you could see as traits in like Paramore or Fall Out Boy that you could pick out and say those different things make them emo, but they don't necessarily make other bands emo. Like, is it the eyeliner? Is it the clothes? Like, what is it that makes them emo?
Yeah, it's really interesting, and it's something I haven't been able to nail down, and we've been trying to do this for weeks, and I've been reading fuck tons. Like, I think the library, like, I go to the library maybe once a week to pick up books I've put on hold. Like, that's what I do when I'm really sad. Instead of buying books because I have no money, is I go to the library and I'm like, put them on hold, and I go in and they'd be like, you've got 8 books on hold, and I'm like, and I've got 40 books at home that I haven't read. But like, it's really funny because I go in and I'm like, this book about punk movement, and this book about like my chem, and this book about like other stuff that we talked about loads when I got them out of the library. And then at the same time they're like, but this girl is also bringing back like 5 copies from the Hamster Princess series, which is like a children's book series, because I'm writing a children's book. I'm not like reading I mean, fuck it, you can read kids books if you want to, but I do have a purpose for it. But I'm sure they're like, what is she doing? What is her life? But it is like, no matter what I'm reading, the more and more I'm seeing is like, emo is a subculture that like a lot of these bands were, as we said in that 6th episode, they're an internet band who kind of like rose to fame in the era of people being able to find music online, but there is no one way of defining it, because a bunch of people on Tumblr or a bunch of people on like old forums and stuff would say that Pierce the Veil were an emo band, or Sleeping with Sirens were an emo band, whereas a lot of people would take offense to that too. And I'm sure a lot of people would hear you say maybe early Taylor Swift is emo and be going, what's wrong with her? Like,
but going on what we've been saying in the sense of like, what traits are there that make bands emo? Like,
I'm gonna start pointing to chairs going, you're emo.
Kobe, you're emo, we're all emo. Bit of emo for everyone in the audience. But like, what is it? And now that I'm thinking about it more, is it that people are like, depending on what bands you cite as your heroes? Because if you look at like Paramore, Hayley Williams would cite bands like Dashboard, Hawthorne, Blink, Green Day, The Smiths, The Cure, all these bands that are emo as her heroes. The same goes for Demi Lovato. She would then again cite like Paramore, and then even coming forward into the noughties or the 2010s or whatever, you've got Lil Peep, who would have considered like Blink, and you know, still goes back, and he's still considered an emo artist, but again, he's still singing about emotions and whatever. But again, he's like a completely different genre. It's like rap. I still can't wrap my head, no pun intended, around the idea that like emo rap is the new emo.
We're gonna do a whole episode
where
we talk about like, I mean, like, what we're talking about now is the 3rd wave of emo. And as we're sitting here talking about this, the 4th wave of emo is happening, and we're not emo. But it's like, but when we read all those books, like we read Andy Greenwald's book a few weeks ago, and his whole thing was about like, you know, it was written in 2003, and he was talking about like, this is emo is ending here, it's done. He had no concept of what we would consider to be emo, because it just hadn't happened yet. But to him, the era that he was writing about was like the tail end of it, because it had already happened, and as far as he was concerned, that was it. And then when the 2nd wave happened, all the 1st wave emo people were like, this isn't real music, what are you doing?
I can see that, because now that I'm like a fan of the 3rd wave of emo, I'm like this, you know, or whatever, this, or I'm a fan of the 2nd wave of emo, that the 3rd wave to me is like, no, that's not real music.
No, this is the 3rd wave.
So I'm a fan of the 2nd wave, which would be like Paramore, Fall Out Boy.
No,
right?
No. No.
I don't know my waves.
Get out of the sea, Clodagh. If you don't know your waves, get out of the sea. No, so 1st wave would have been like the 1985, this is what emo is. And then in the 90s, when all those bands were like coming up, so like when Dashboard started, that's like 1st wave. Coming into 2nd wave. So the tail end of that, like, I can't even name any, like Raina Maria would have been like 1st wave, 2nd wave. Dashboard would have been like 2nd wave. So 3rd wave was
Paramore,
My Chem, Panic.
Okay,
that's
so
all third
fourth wave is like...
now 21 Pilots.
Okay. Yeah.
You're with me.
I'm with you now.
You're with me now.
So, yeah, so as a fan of the third wave of emo, I can see what you mean by the first and second being like this Paramore, Fall Out Boy, it's not real music, it's snags.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking ahead at the fourth wave and thinking, this isn't real emo music. This is
And
shite.
it's all different, or it sounds different.
Yeah.
But it's like we're gonna do a whole episode where we try to give this stuff a chance and actually see what is out there, and maybe we'll get somebody. If you want to talk to us about fourth wave, if you're listening and you're like, I like all this stuff, and you're both old and stupid, you can email us on kidsfromyesterdaypod@gmail.com. We'll be happy to talk to you. If you want to freaking call us, and we'll talk to you on pod about like your opinions on this, because we want to hear it. Like we're literally two gals making a pod in a room. That's what we are, and it's great to hear what other people think, because I think this is really important, and it's important when you're talking about music and you're talking about a subculture that is so poorly recorded. Like I've found, there's another book coming out, we've talked about this maybe in the last episode. There is a book coming out in October about emo culture, and I'm really excited to like
oh my god, buzzing.
I'm like, yeah, but I'm so excited to see what in like to her, because she's around our age as well.
Yeah.
Mid-20s, just we are old. We're not lying about that. I'd like to see what her opinion of what emo is compares to ours, because I think we're being really flexible about it. Like we've said before, Avril Lavigne, pretty freaking emo.
Yeah.
Even though she was kind of in that like
mainstream pop kind of.
Yeah, like she was like pop punk.
Yeah.
Like the beginnings of what we consider to now be mainstream pop punk.
Yeah.
But like a lot of her shit is really, like she's still releasing music. Like she had Lyme disease. She was like the poster child for what Lyme disease is, and she raised a lot of awareness simply by being really ill, which unfortunately is what happens when a lot of people are chronically ill. But
and then she died and was replaced with a robot.
You remember?
Don't forget about that, Courtney.
If you haven't heard that, we'll post this on Facebook or Tumblr or something. Well, the Avril Lavigne conspiracy. But so when Avril died and was replaced with a robot, she became really gothic, and she's writing a lot of really cool stuff now. Like I've always liked her.
It's AI.
Yeah,
they've upgraded the robot.
Made her much better. She looks like her. She sounds like her. She has a lot of opinions on things. But like this is like her post being ill stuff that she's like kind of resurrected her whole thing, I guess, and it's still pretty freaking emo. Like it's still confessional, it's still got all this stuff in it that we try to define, but I think like we're 8 episodes in, we haven't been able to nail down what is emo, and I think that's fine. I actually think it's okay, because emo is so much more than just one band. Yeah,
because it falls into the realm of the actual culture surrounding as well, because in our last episode we talked about kind of what is the culture surrounding emo. Like it's not just music, there's a specific set of books, there's a specific set of YouTubers, films, brands, clothing brands that we all associate with the culture. It's not just, and it's still kind of hard to like Converse. What have Converse got to do with, this is going to be in our next episode, but what have Converse, what makes them emo? Like it's so hard to define it. But going back to kind of the women in emo, like I would be I really like Lil Pump stuff. No, Lil Peep. I keep mixing the two of them up. I really like Lil Peep stuff. He has a song called Girls, and I really like the video because it's so representative of different kinds of women. There's fat women, there's black women in the video, and they're not just stick pin model-esque women that we've seen in previous emo videos, like from the likes of Blink and All Time Low, etc. And that to me shows that emo culture is kind of progressive in a sense of being more aware of the fact that women are people too, and we can play music. Well, I can't play music, but women can play music and be in bands and do really fantastic things. Like you were telling me about what is that band called with the drummer?
Jess Bowen from the Somerset. Like, the Somerset broke up in 2016, but I remember I was at Slam Dunk. So Slam Dunk was a music festival that's like a one day, it used to be an indoor thing and it moved to outdoor, so now it's horribly inaccessible and I can't go anymore. Thanks so much, Slam Dunk, you've ruined my life. You haven't really. You have. That was my favourite thing to do. But it was like this one day indoor festival where they had like, they get Panic, and they'd get like All Time Low, and they'd get all these really cool bands, and they'd get loads of really cool UK bands and stuff, and it was an opportunity to see a lot of stuff that maybe you wouldn't get to at Download because it was all crammed into one day. But the Somerset were a band I saw on the main stage in 2013, I think, and I'd never really heard of them. I'd heard of the singer, Brian Logandales.
No.
His name is Brian Logandales, but it really bothers me that Logandales is not his surname. His name is Brian Logandales. And I have never been able to wrap my head around that, ever. It's such a random thing to get in. No, it's just like his name is Brian Logan Dales. I've never been able to get my head around it, and I don't know why. It's just been like a little thing that's bothered me for my whole life. But this is 6 years ago, and they came out, and I remember we were standing like at the front nearly, and this band came out, and this girl came out, and she had her hair up in like a top ponytail thing, and she sat down behind the drum kit, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And she was fucking amazing. Like, she was so fucking good, and I was like, holy shit, because you never hear of female drummers in successful pop punk bands.
No.
You just don't. So I looked her up this week before, like, when I was preparing for this, and she has some videos up on her YouTube. We'll probably post one on Facebook, just so you can see. But like, she's really freaking cool, and she's a really, really good drummer. And it's like just the assumption that girls don't get a chance to do shit like that. But it was like very much the case of like, if you can't see it, you can't be it. Like when you were talking about wanting to learn drums, it's so rare to see because women aren't being given a chance, I think, to actually do this. Like,
definitely, I was so against, like, I really, 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 really want to learn drums. I've actually looked into it. I'm going to do it this year. I'll probably do like 3 lessons, realise I have no coordination, to be like, okay, this is not for me. My whole life I've dreamed of this and I'm shite at it. But the idea of, oh, that makes you too muscular, or oh, I'm too weak for that, or I haven't seen any other women do it, so obviously, like, it just never crossed my mind that it was an actual thing that I, as a woman, as a girl, could go ahead and do.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see.
No. And like, this is the only example. I mean, I'm sure there are loads out there, but I mean, in the scene, in the years that we were active teenagers in the scene, like, this is the only example I've ever seen of a female, not like vocalist, performing in a semi-successful pop punk band. Like, that was the first thing. I was actually speaking of the library earlier. I know this is like a long-winded segue, but I got a book out called Pretty in Punk, and it's by Lorraine LeBlanc, and she was a punk in the 80s, and although that seems kind of irrelevant to what we're talking about, I still think it's really important because she was talking about punk as a subculture, and about like, she was looking at the girls in the subculture, because her whole thing was that women are kind of forgotten about when we talk about subcultures in general. So the quote was from a 1978 statement by Leslie Smith, where she said there's like sexist assumptions about female participation in subculture. So she said that girls are passive, that their roles are sexual, that they're ancillary or peripheral in the subculture, and they don't instruct or engage in forms of resistance. So, like, I mean, the resistance not necessarily pertinent to emo, but I still think that's kind of like how you see it, that like the emo is made up of dudes, and there's also some girls, and like the passive role that girls are seen to have in emo is like that you go and you listen to the bands and you buy the merch, and people are allowed to be like, oh, you're fangirls and you don't matter, when like you fucking do. Like, teenage girls are so important, and they keep all this shit afloat. They're the people buying the music, they're the people buying the tickets, they're the people buying the merch. And it doesn't mean that there aren't men in the crowd. There are, of course. There are teenage boys. There are young men out there. But the core of these fan bases is made up by women, and yet nobody looks at them.
Yeah, like, if you think about it, 50% of the, let's say, for like, if we want to just split it down the middle and just say it's 50-50, 50% of the fans in the room are female, and 50% have bought the tickets for the show. If those 50% didn't show up, like, buy your merch, buy whatever, and you know, your success would be halved, your money would be halved, but yet we still allow, and have allowed, ourselves to be kind of pushed around as an accessory to emo, as an accessory to the men, as an accessory to the scene, and be spoken about a certain way in songs. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, because as well there's this whole idea that teenage girls, what they listen to, you know, automatically deems it unimportant and stupid or whatever, there's this whole superiority complex, I guess, that if you like something that teenage girls like, you know, you're a lesser being.
Yeah.
But for women, it's harder for us to have our voices heard, in a sense, that there has been such a little representation going throughout the scene for us to even have somebody like that to say, hey, this isn't right, or this is the wrong thing. And even up to recently, like we talked about this before, All Time Low, when they I love giving out about All Time Low when they supposedly, oh look, we love women, we brought Hey Violet out on tour, but there's no female photographers, no female sound people, sound engineers, anything like that, and
it's like no women on their crew. And like they have changed that since. They've brought out Ashley Osborne, who is a fucking amazing photographer. She's been in, like, it's not like they knew her for years, and it's not like they were like, we need to find a token woman. Like they found somebody
where will we find her?
who is, but it's like the proof that like there are really skilled, really talented, really wonderful women out there working in music.
Yeah.
That deserve a chance as much as any other person does, that they just have been overlooked.
Yeah.
So like she's been like photographing Billie Eilish, she's been photographing Avril Lavigne, she's been involved in so many things, and she's not just touring with All Time Low.
Yeah.
Like she's really doing really well, and she's incredible. And like, these are people that if you can't see it, you can't be it. I wonder how many like photographer women have been like, oh shit, I can do this as well. I can get those like press passes. I can go and I can photograph my favorite bands.
And it sounds like a case as well of, like you said, she's photographed like Billie Eilish and Avril Lavigne. Like, does it take a woman being in the industry to say, hey, I'm going to put another woman up to the podium with me? Like the likes of Hayley Williams. I know Paramore's photographer, I think her name is Lindsay Byrne.
Yes, Lindsay.
She obviously like if Hayley wasn't in the band, would they have a male photographer? Like, is it taking women to be in the industry? And if we don't have those women in the actual music industry, in the actual bands, then they're not obviously not pulling other sound engineers, other female, you know, roadies or whatever else, photographers, videographers, directors, into doing their music videos, into doing their shows. So it's kind of a circle of it's like a revolving door of just like gathering women and bringing them into the industry.
Yeah, and it's like, is every woman then going to bring somebody else in? And then it's like, should the responsibility be on women to do this? Absolutely fucking not. Like,
no, it shouldn't be.
There's plenty of women, I'm sure, who were like, no, like I just want whoever's best for the job. And you're like, whatever, if that's your opinion on it, that's fine. But it's like, and I've heard people say this before, that this is how they feel about it, that like they're doing whatever job, and whoever is also really good at the job should also get the job. But you have like a few people elevating women like this, getting them in, and maybe those women will then in turn go, hey, I know this person who is like really good at this thing that you need, or who's also talented, who also deserves a fucking chance. And it just seemed to be like there is like a little community of people who are starting to. So I just thought it was really cool. I've just seen it on her Instagram, on Ashley's Instagram recently, that she'd been photographing Billie. Billie, who is also the fucking future of emo. Oh yeah, she is so cool. She's everything I wanted to be as a 17-year-old.
Yes, like, she is so cool.
Yeah,
and unbelievably talented.
Oh, incredibly so.
Whew, she's so good.
Yeah.
Like what was the first song she came out with? Ocean Eyes, and she wrote that when she was like 13, or something ridiculous. Like when I was 13, I'm pretty sure I was eating grass still. Do you know, like there's her talent is just, I think, pretty unparalleled.
Yeah.
For her age, and she's kind of, in the sense as well, one of the other big things in emo, I guess, is kind of that, well, I guess what we used to call androgyny.
Yeah.
And I guess now it's kind of saying fuck off to gender roles, and that she's dressing how the fuck she wants, and she feels like she doesn't have to. And she said this before, that she dresses the way she dresses. Like, if you don't know what she looks like, she wears like baggy shorts, big
like
runners, boxy tops, boxy big hoodies and hats and everything, because she doesn't want people to sexualize her body. She doesn't want people to know if she's got big boobs or a thick ass or whatever. This is what she said, or skinny legs, or
like, remember she wore a tank top. She wore a tank top the other day, and people were sexualizing her.
And she was like, this is why I don't wear it, because I don't want the attention to be on her body.
Yeah, and she's a fucking child.
She is a child.
Like, stop being 43 and sexualizing a child. Like, actually, there's something wrong with you.
I think I seen tweets or something, somebody being like, oh, well, she's 18 now, so actually it's fine. Like,
you're like,
it's still not fucking fine.
Yeah, like,
you're
stop it.
Still, yeah, it's just wrong.
But that was, I had read The Gender Games by Gina Dawson a few weeks ago, and this was written in 2017. In it, she'd kind of said that, you know, Beyonce wouldn't get away with the things that Jay-Z does. Like, what Beyonce has to prance around in underwear, and like you'd never see Jay-Z wearing anything other than a baggy t-shirt and baggy jeans, and no female singer would ever get away with dressing the way he does. And it was like, flash forward to 2 years later and you have Billie. Yeah, but it's like shit that we've been saying for years, that like, oh, like women still have to take their clothes off. And like somebody like Billie, who is an actual child, like she is so young, and she is able to go, actually no, I want you to like me for my music, not for what I look like. And it's amazing. It's
incredible. She is definitely the future of emo. And I can't wait to see what she does next, because I feel like she's only just getting started and she's still huge.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows who she is. Yeah. Everyone has an opinion on her, love her or hate her.
Yeah.
She's
making weird shit and I'm really into it.
Yeah.
Like I'm really fucking into it. We just mentioned Hey Violet as well. They're kind of like, they've been described as like pastel goth, and I can see that.
I like that term.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's nice. It's like it has a nice vibe to it, but they're still in that like emo sphere. These are the people who are listening to them. Like what we said before about it, it's about who your audience is. Like kind of like the way Lights would be. Something I found really interesting though was when I was listening to them, all the suggested similar artists were all men. It was really weird though. It's like, is there just nobody else out there?
There definitely is.
Yeah, but it was just like, it's, as far as
there is Courtney. As far as Spotify is concerned,
that's it. And you've listened to a woman, you must now want to listen to 7 men, because that's how that works apparently. We've mentioned her before, but Nicole Rowe, she's the current bassist for Panic at the Disco. She is only 27. I'm like, you're a baba.
That is so cool though.
She's awesome.
I never could imagine like standing in a crowd watching one of my favourite bands like that and being like, I could play bass for them when their bassist leaves. Yeah. That's never anything I could have ever imagined. No. Could happen, and has.
Yeah, and she's been, I didn't write it down, but she has been like playing with other bands and stuff as well. Like she's quite an established musician, and it's really cool again to see somebody up there not in a necessarily a vocalist position that is still a member of a band. I think that's really awesome. A band that kept coming up again and again when I was reading about emo bands were Kitty Hawk. They broke up in 2015 or 2016, but Kate Grube is the vocalist for them, and they're really fucking cool. They're on our playlist. It's very like shoegazy kind of emo. Like they're like,
I've never heard of them,
but when you listen to them, you can kind of hear how like, yeah, that's an emo band. Yeah. And like I feel like those kids who are like, like Dashboard is for boys and like Fiona Apple is for girls. Like I feel like Kitty Hawk is like the band that if they'd known about them, that would have been what they would have compared.
Dashboard.
Yeah, like it's that kind of, it feels very like it's completely different like type of music, but it feels very that confessional thing that when you hear it you go, yeah, that's emo music, and that is like first second wave emo music. I think the more you listen to it, the more you start hearing kind of like, yeah, that's, I would have said that was emo, or I wouldn't have said that was, which is pretty cool. Do you remember Flyleaf?
Oh my god, I was just thinking, I used to love Flyleaf, adore them. So good. They did the cover of that song from The Night Before Christmas.
Don't know.
They did a cover of a Nightmare Before Christmas song. It was incredible. I only remember one album that they had that I used to listen to on repeat. Can't remember what it was called.
Memento Mori, or the self-titled?
Maybe it was the self-titled
with
one.
Cassie on it.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. Throwback. Really, really love them. Yeah. Were you into them?
Yeah, like back in the day when I was discovering emo. I mean, like they're a Christian rock band. They're like, I was saying this to our sound engineer last night, that like I remember Flyleaf and he was like, yeah, but I wouldn't say they were emo. But I'm like, I consider them emo because of how similar they were in sound to early Paramore. It was that kind of like, and I guess Christian rock was like that back in the day. That's what Paramore used to be. They were a Christian rock band, so were Flyleaf. Lacey Sturm was like, she's like a born again Christian. And then she left and Kristen May took over. But they were really cool. I'd always wished I'd gotten to see them live. another band then was Tonight Alive and Jenna McDougall. And like I think the really cool thing about them is they're Australian, and it's really fucking hard for Australian bands to make it.
Yes.
And she was 16 when she joined Tonight Alive. Oh, she wasn't even 16. She was like the day before her 16th birthday. She joined Tonight Alive.
Wow.
And like they've been going for, she's 20.
They're still going, right?
Yeah, she's like 26 or 27 now. So like they've been doing this 3 years. They were kind of a band that like I've seen. Well, the last time I saw them was at Slam Dunk, and I was really like undiagnosed chronically ill at the time, so I was like, oh, the only way to get through this is to drink a lot and take many painkillers. Don't do that, kids. Not safe. Don't ever take drugs, and even safe ones. Don't do that. It's really bad. So I don't remember. I remember seeing like pretty lights and hearing things and being like, oh, she shaved off all her hair. That's really cool. I was sitting on the floor. Like I don't remember it at all. But they're still really cool.
Didn't she?
Yeah, she did at one point. She shaved it all off. Yeah, I think she's really cool, and like she hangs around with like, or she did like with like You-Me-86 and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like they've always been kind of like in the periphery of the sphere, but still in there,
still doing their own thing.
Yeah. And then I can't Paris, but I need to call them Pivris. I'm sorry. It's just if you're gonna put a V in your name, that's what it is.
Same with churches.
Churches. But like Lynn Gunn, and like she's like an LGBT icon as well. Like everybody loves her. I haven't really been a fan of them ever. I've never really given them a chance. But I was listening to them this week, and I was like, I can see that as well. And it's people who like other emo bands would be like, yes,
these are emo.
Yeah, this pop punk band are. And I think that's a really important distinction to make. That lots of emo bands are pop punk, but not all pop punk bands are emo. And I think yeah.
I actually kind of would consider Churches to be emo.
Well, Laura Mayberry is really cool.
Yes, she's amazing. She's so cool. And Paramore, well, they went on Parahoy with Paramore, so that's obviously like solidifies them as an emo band. But also, we recorded one of their songs, Bury It, and Hayley Williams was on the song with her. And it actually, when I first heard that song on that album, that Bury It song like stood out to me as that could be Paramore. And then when Hayley did the song with them, I was like, oh. So yeah, they're definitely an iconic emo band to me. They're actually playing here, I think in like 3-4 weeks time. Churches, yeah. The last time I seen them, I was very drunk, so don't really.
I don't have a drinking problem. Just in case
we don't have a drinking problem. We just get drunk at festivals.
No, this was I had a lot of prosecco. I saw them in the Olympia, and it was really freaking cool. It was like the first time they came here, I think.
Yeah, I went to see them at Longitude. Was it Longitude? Yeah, it was Longitude. A couple of years ago, but I am dying to go and see them again. Yeah. They're so good.
They're really cool. Another band is Against the Current. So Chrissy Costanza.
I've never heard of
them. They toured with All Time Low. Like
that'd be why I haven't heard of them.
You're like, oh, I don't. So they toured. Sorry, this is another I was drunk story. I actually never drink. I'm not joking. Like people are like, oh, I have a drink at the weekend. I genuinely don't, unless I'm going somewhere or apparently going to see bands that I need to remember. That's when I have a drink. But it was 2016, I think, and they had Against the Current, and they had fucking Good Charlotte, who now look like my dad. Oh. Benji Madden looks like my dad, and like I remember standing there going, he looks like my dad. It's so weird sending pictures of him to my dad going, you. It was really funny and really weird because I was like, remember when everybody was in love with him? Now he's my dad. Yeah, so it brought a whole new thing to like calling people daddy. I was like, that is actually my dad. Like weird. But Against the Current were there. Chrissy is like, I think she's a YouTuber. She has like a YouTube account or whatever. She's like 24. She's soups young anyway. Don't know why I said it like that. That was weird, but we're going with it. They did a cover of Ain't It Fun, and they've done a few covers of established bands, and they've got their own stuff as well. Like I think that was kind of how they got known, was like doing covers on YouTube. So they're pretty emo. Like to look at her, you're like, yeah, I can see you being an emo kid. And again, it's down to who's listening to them, and it's those kind of crossover pop punk kids. I was never like super into them. I enjoyed them at the show, but as I said, there were several beverages had been consumed at that point, so I don't really remember a lot about
See,
that.
when I was a teenager, I would be like, oh, I never drink Chronic Concert because I want to
Same.
remember it. Now I'm like, zip me close to the bar, make sure I've got access to the toilet because I'm going to have a party tonight. I'm going to get drunk and I'm going to enjoy this band.
Yeah.
But like,
When I
before,
was a
I'd be
kid,
like,
I never would.
do that. You're so uncool, drinking underage. But now I'm like,
Yeah,
nah.
no. And now as an adult, I'm like, this is actually
I want a
fine.
seat and I want a bar. Whereas before I'd be like, I have to be up front, can't even drink water because then I have to go to the toilet.
Yeah, and you'd be like nearly. I have passed out at shows because I was like, oh yeah, no, that happened to Slam Dunk one year. I passed out, and I nearly passed out in the Wembley. Or did I pass? I can't remember. All I remember, it was at
Because you were drunk, Courtney. I know.
It actually wasn't this time. It was at the live recording of All Time Low Straight to DVD 2, and they did it in like the smaller Wembley, like the Wembley Arena, because it's quite small. But there was like a crowd crush, and then Alex moved to the back, and just as I started to go, and my friends kind of like propelled me forward, and there was air, and we got water, and it was fine. But like I have actually passed out at a show before, and then like yeah, no, it like isn't like it was so crushed in that I didn't fall. I just
You're just kind of standing there, floating a little bit off the ground.
But like I didn't actually fall. I think I just kind of like was leaning on like the people I was with. And then they were like, do you want to leave the crowd? And I was like, fuck no, I've been standing here for hours. I'm not getting out. Just get me some water. So we did, and I was fine.
I've had some awful experiences and things happen to me at the front of the gigs. Like, as in like my physical health.
Yeah.
But I would still like just, I have to get through this.
Yeah. But it's like you've still, I mean, now I'm like, fuck no, I'm too ill to do this shit anymore. I'm like, just let me sit down. If I want to leap around in the seat, that's fine. But there's certain shows that I'll still go to and stand up. But
yeah. I don't think I could ever go to a Paramore show and not stand at the front though. No. Like that is one thing. Like I would go to any other gig in the world and I don't mind standing at the back. I'd rather actually sit down and be able to have access to the bar. But Paramore, not a chance. Like
there's a few
have
things.
to be front row.
Like I keep saying, and this is completely off topic because it's nothing to do with women, but if
we are women, everything's to do with it.
Everything's about me. If my chem ever do get back together, I will travel. I was like, how far will I travel? I was like, well, I've got savings, so anywhere. And I was like, I don't care how sick I am, I'm going, and I'm also standing. I don't give a fuck. I am going to get into a mosh pit and I'm going to beat people up. Like I'm going to enjoy myself. And there's not many things I would do that for, but there's certain things that I'm like, no, stubborn. I'm going to stand for this.
Yeah.
Which is part of the drunkenness when I go. Like again, when I was a kid and I was carefree and didn't have like I was like drinking at gigs is so uncool.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? You can't remember anything. And now I'm like, did I see that? Fake moving shapes on a stage.
This is why I can't remember if I've seen All Time Low twice or not. You said you seen me at a gig on the Olympia, a All Time Low gig, right?
Did I?
I think so.
I don't remember. The
And
last
then
time I
that
remember
made me
seeing-
question whether or not I'd seen them twice. And half me feels like I remember like going to the bar at the back of the Olympia. And I still don't know whether I've seen them twice or not. I feel like I have, but I don't remember.
Well, this is a massive segue, so we need to get back in. Another person who was around when we were teens, We Are the In Crowd.
Oh yeah.
And Tay Jardine, and like I hadn't realized this until maybe last year sometime, but she's been doing her own solo stuff as Saint. And like I had like a really brief listen last night, and it's actually really fucking good.
I didn't realise that was her.
Yeah,
because I'd heard the name, I'd seen the name around Instagram, but I had never didn't know it was her.
Didn't know.
Which is fun because we are bringing back our real lyric, fake lyric game for this episode. So I am going to be quizzing Courtney on Saint lyrics, and Courtney is going to quiz me on some Cassidy Pope lyrics.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Come now. You really think you're the only one who can play this game?
Look, it is perfectly simple. I want to play. Let's play a game.
This is how real lyric, fake lyric works. Basically, it's a play on a game by Stephen Byrne from 2FM. He has a game called Lyric or Satiric. So it's basically, is it a real lyric or is it a fake lyric? That's the name of the game, quota. So what happens is I have 5 lyrics from, some of them are Saint lyrics, some of them are not Saint lyrics. I'm going to read 5 of them out to Courtney. She has to guess which is which. whether it's real or whether it's not. The other lyrics are from actual songs as well. And then what happens is we'll put it on the scoreboard. The score at the moment is 1-0 to Courtney. The last round we did was Dashboard Confessional versus Hawthorne Heights. I got probably one right and Courtney got most of hers right. So it's 1-0 at the moment. So let's see if we can make it a draw.
Let's give it a go. I am an overachiever though, so like I will.
Yeah, you're the overachiever. So do you want to go first with yours?
I'll go first. So these are from Cassidy Pope songs. They could either be Cassidy's solo stuff or Hey Monday.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right. Or other.
Or other.
Or other. Okay, question 1. Don't get me wrong, I don't want him anymore, but if you're going to flaunt it, guess you had it coming.
Real lyric.
Yes.
Yay!
It's from FYI. Okay, question 2. Descending, I'm spinning, lost all defense, how could you swallow me again?
Real lyric.
Yeah.
I'm spinning. That's a Hey Monday song.
Yeah, Homecoming by Hey Monday. Okay, question 3. Who cares if we hold up a little bit of late night traffic?
Fake lyric.
No.
Oh.
Real lyric. It's from One More Red Light from her latest album.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I was on your side, I stood by you, so go ahead and cry, it's just like you.
Fake lyric.
Yes.
Yay!
Can you, for a bonus point, name the artist?
No!
It's Lonely Girl by Tonight Alive.
Oh.
Also a banger. And then question number 5. I don't even remember why I'm wasting all these tears on you.
Real lyric. Yes.
Yes. That's really fucking good, actually.
So what did I get? 4?
You got, we were writing it down, so you got
3?
1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4, yeah.
Yay!
So we're gonna write it down.
I'm just gripping onto possibly winning here. So let's see how this goes. So I have lyrics here from Saint.
Yeah.
aka it's HRD. Some are real, some are fake. So are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay. A constant reminder I'll never need a heart that's weightless if you're still here with me.
Real lyric.
Yes, it is. I tried to dance it away. I tried to change it with my hair.
Fake lyric.
Fake lyric is correct.
Who is that?
Do you want to guess?
No idea.
Okay, it's Solange.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Never would have
Because
gotten that in a million years.
you see Saint and she's Saint Records on Instagram, so it came to mind. So third one, you can't get under my skin, but I get stuck in your head.
Real lyric.
Yes, correct. Next one, if you ever feel alone, then you should know how hard it is to feel like you belong.
Real lyric.
Correct. Wow. Very emo. And the 5th one, electricity, magic if you please, master of all these, bring him to his knees.
Fake lyric.
Correct. That is a song called 5 Magics by Megadeth.
Beautiful.
I figured so that was...
I got 5. I got all 5
No,
right.
you got 4.
What did I get wrong?
If I tried to dance it away, I tried to change it with my hair. You didn't know what that was.
Yeah, but I still got it that it was a fake
Oh,
lyric.
sorry. Yeah, of
so I
course.
got 5. I win!
Oh. So that's all we've got for you this week. I am going to go cry in a corner and be a sore loser.
I'm going to go be a really terrible winner. I'm going to keep reminding you that I'm actually winning.
2-0.
2-0. It's actually 2-0. Just in case.
2-0. So if you want to come see us gloat or cry about our scoreboard, we're on Tumblr.
We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and we're on Facebook. It's
and YouTube now as well.
On YouTube, yeah. So we're Kids From Yesterday Pod on everything except Twitter, which is Kids From Y Day Pod, because we just don't have enough letters. But yeah, you can find us anywhere. And come chat with us.
Come chat with us.
We love getting messages from people. We're so lonely.
We're so low. We're emo. We need friends.
We need friends.
Emo friends. Ooh, friend. Emo friend.
Friend! Oh, new friend! Oh, friend! Please be my friend! Oh, friend! Oh, friend!
And as well as that, like I said, we're on YouTube now. We actually put out 2 videos last week on our Instagram TV where we tried out emo ASMR. So
With
go and
mixed middling results.
yeah, so go and see how that worked out for us, or not.
we'll see you guys soon.
We'll see you very soon. Don't forget to join our emo cult by giving us a few stars on the Apple Podcast.
Like preferably 5.
Preferably 5. A little review. Say we're cool. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your uncle.
If you've got like an emo cousin who you think would like listening to us shite on about stuff, tell them.
Tell them.
And we'll be back very soon.
Fucking friend. Oh, friend! Friend! Fucking emo! Friend!